Silver. It's actually Wednesday, the 7th of September. Wow, August really flew us by, right? So, thank you to everyone that has been checking me out since the beginning, and hello to all newcomers. You're actually coming in on a good week. As you have probably heard, I do have a new theme song finally. This is actually courtesy of my husband. For his privacy, I'm going to be calling him by his online gaming name from here on out, Empty Eye. Yes, there's a whole story behind that, and I took Mrs. Empty Eye as my nomer for that same online gaming community as well. So you could always follow me there if you'd like as well. It's up to you. Anyway, so just tell me what you think of the theme song. The reason behind that is I had got sick of my videos being blocked on YouTube, and for various reasoning, and I didn't want to worry about that anymore. So I kind of just kept bothering Empty Eye to create an intro for me. Basically, the only direction I gave him was that I needed one, and that he can probably pull his inspiration from something he's witnessed me say, or something that has happened while I'm knitting, or, you know, I talk about random stuff with him. He does not get my obsession with knitting, but he at least tries. So, love you, sweetheart. I know you're going to be listening to this one because you wanted to see how it all plays well. So, also new this week, I do have a new website where I will be putting up all my show notes. It will be www.silversdreamlandpodcast.com. Make sure you put the podcast at the end, otherwise you won't find it at all. Um, Here is where I'm going to be putting all the show notes and contests and everything else that has to do with the podcast specifically. This way, you don't need to worry about rummaging through my personal blog entries to find the show notes. I was finding that annoying myself. I don't know about you. I'm going to make sure to include the new link to it directly under the video so you can find it really quickly. Um, I'm basically going to have all the pictures of everything I'm working on, as well as some other fun things that I've been planning on doing and things like that as well. That way you can follow along. You never know. If you decided to comment, there may be prizes involved. So, the last new thing that you need to worry about is that I've decided that Wednesdays will be the date I record from now on. It's been a long, long debate for me, but I realized that I am more myself with a buffer between my busy work weekend and my social obligations. When there's that buffer of time to kind of decompress from being the, whoa, I'm so upbeat on the phone and I've got to love what I'm doing all the time. I need some time to be the antisocial person I need to be, and then I can do what I need to do from there on out. So I figure also, once I have the time to decompress, I won't be as cranky. I was noticing a lot of the time recording on Mondays, I was very cranky, and half the time I said, I don't feel like recording. And let's be honest, I was just being lazy. It gives me the buffer of a couple days and get everything done and relax at the same time. So I'll be a lot less cranky. I don't know if you could have heard it in my voice last week about having a couple weeks off to kind of relax and chill seemed to kind of do it. So if I have that buffer, I'll be better. Anyway, let's move on to the reason you came by, the knitting. So grab your drink of choice, your crafting, and away we go. I decided over the past week that I needed to have some way of tracking all of the different KALs that I'm a part of, and even the ones that I am hosting as well. So I'm going to be calling this next section KAL Watch 2016. The first one we need to discuss is my whip down for this year. I have a little bit of a review from August. Just so you know, I finished 5 projects, which ended up being a total of 3,516 yards. This was all counted in my stash dash totals, but after that, I did kind of take it a little bit slower after stash dash ended. Pretty much just needed a break, so I knit what I wanted and I took my time doing it, and I'm a lot happier because I did. So anyway, to that end, since no one entered for the August prizes, I will actually roll it over into next month's drawing. So, make sure you get your FOs in. You never know, I may actually randomly pick somebody throughout even the course of the month. So, as far as September is concerned, with my knitting is actually shaping up pretty well. I'll share more about that once I get to my FOs, because yes, I do have one, or possibly two. You'll have to wait to find out. Let's see. So September's prize will actually be a total of three. Count them, three. That includes last month's drawing as well as two for September. Patterns on Ravelry, which will be $10 or under. Trust me, if you're worried about just, having, getting patterns and things like that, no, 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 there are more and more coming. I just haven't quite put them all into place as of yet, and I will give you details as we get to the beginning of each month, because you know what? Right now, it's a mystery. But anyway, just make sure you get your September FO picture submissions in by September 30th at about 11:51 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Just so you know, that's based on the fact that I am in Eastern Time. So it just makes it easier to tell everyone, hey, that's when it needs to be in. So if you're international, you have more time. But yeah, you'll know when September is over, because I will actually try to lock the thread as much as I possibly can, and even make a post at about the time that I am ending those submissions, so you know. So just keep an eye out for that in the Ravelry board. The second KAL that I am participating in is the Gilmore Girls KAL with the Knitting Broomstick people, as well as the people, Jilly, I'm so sorry, of Jilly of the Knitting Broomstick, and then the Geeky Girls podcast. Basically, as long as you've started something August 1st and go until September 30th, any project that is knit, crochet, woven, or even spun, that you can convince those two groups that it relates to Gilmore Girls, you'll be fine. Just remember, no whips in front before that. Your project must be entered no earlier than the 1st of August and finished no later than the 30th of September. I'm going to be including a full list of rules on my podcast notes. There are quite a bit. You can get double entries for doing their patterns and things like that. So if you'd like to join, please do. If you happen to mention it in the podcast, in my podcast thread for this week, there may be some random active patterning going on in there. I won't confirm or deny that. Anywho, on to the next thing that I am actually currently participating in. It's the Miss Babs Fanatics KAL. It's a group on Ravelry. I saw this a little while back, but any project that was started between what about July 1st, it had to have been a new work in progress. You have to knit or crochet a large shawl or wrap. It'd be 700 yards or more. They're also doing a sweater along as well in that same time frame. The due date would be by Rhinebeck, which this year it is October 15th and 16th. It does have to be made out of Miss Babs yarn, just so you know. They have such a wonderful color sense, let me tell you. I had such a hard time picking what colors I wanted, but to that end, I have made my decision, and I've been considering. I started this one just after the 1st of July. It was the Progressive Progression Shawl, which was the Progression Shawl by Karen of the Round the Twist podcast, out of the Scorpion Gradient Yummy 2-ply Miss Babs yarn. Oh, such an amazing yarn. I just wish that I had remembered that, oh yes, even with gradients, I can still kind of wind this off correctly. I kind of made an issue in a kind of a winding oopsie where the first section of the gradient, the darker section, ended up getting cut a few times. So yeah, I probably lost a little bit of yardage on that, but that's neither here nor there. It's still looking awesome. I'm actually knitting that on a size US 4s, which is a 29-inch Susan Bates metal needles that I have. Okay, And the last KAL that I am participating in is going to be the Down Abbey KAL. I literally just made the decision to do the KAL this week. I haven't really decided what I wanted to do for it yet, and it's not like I don't have time to decide, right? As of right now, there are no rules laid out, but this will be going on through the Knitting Broomstick podcast. She has such an awesome fandom KAL going on all year long. There's been like Harry Potter and obviously for the Gilmore Girls, and then let's see, next month. If I remember, next month is Discovery of Witches. So if you're into that, you can always do that as well. And for December, I believe she's got White Christmas, I think, as a theme. Definitely go by, stop in, like her pages. At least listen to her first couple episodes. She is amazing. She is definitely a big fan of as many things as you can possibly be a fan of, which is awesome. She just speaks to my geeky side. So I recommend her and the Geeky Girls podcast. Definitely stop by and watch them. They are both hysterical. Anyway, let's just also go on to all of the whips that I am considering for my whip down. There are three of them. One of them I actually think I started just a little bit after we got majorly started last week. It's going to be calling this the Pink Weave. It is going to be it's out of a pattern that I made myself. It's out of a Stitch dictionary that I found ages and ages ago and kind of turned it into a baby blanket pattern. I call it simply basket weave baby blanket because it looks like a basket weave. It's listed on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, obviously, since it wasn't my initial Stitch. I just didn't want to get any money for that, but I do recommend it. It's a very simple pattern. I even have a video linked as well as a what I call a pattern help page where you can kind of check off the rotation of the pattern you're on. And that's a row by row thing as well. It's kind of how my brain works, and if you want a little bit deeper glimpse into how my brain works when it comes to my crafting, that is definitely a pattern to at least download and look at. um, this time I am making it for a coworker. I think I mentioned that last time. I can't remember. Don't quote me, I promise. Brain still fried from the long weekend. Anyway, I'm making this out of the Bernat Softy Baby, which is the baby pink marl colorway I'm using. It is amazing. So far, so good. I got up to about a third, maybe almost halfway done with it, and I am realizing I need more yarn. I did originally get this color for a couple of the Milos, if you remember. And, well, I was like, hey, I'm going to be happily knitting along. Then I realized, oh no, I need more yarn. So luckily, tomorrow is payday for me. So I will go out and get the rest that I need. So you'll probably see more of that in enabling next week. Anywho, I am actually knitting this on a size 7. They are They are Susan Bates Circs. They're pretty much my standard. I like to use circular needles on blankets. It's a lot easier on my hands when I knit. I've noticed that quite a bit with all of the projects that I'm using, and I actually work on a lot are all on Circs. So there's that. The other thing that I did a tiny bit of work on, believe it or not, only on Monday during a picnic at my parents' place, is the watermelon socks. They are the pattern the Toe Up Socks with a Difference by Wendy D. Johnson. The yarn is the watermelon sock blank that I have from Gales Art. Still in love. Still in love with the sock blank. I just wish I had more time to work on it. And I know watermelon season's kind of over. Everyone's obsessed with pumpkin, but no, I'll get there. Right now, I need to concentrate on the watermelon. This one, and since it's a sock, I'm using two US2 16-inch circs as well. That's my jam. That's how I do my socks. So if you hear me repeating it a few times, don't be surprised. So the third thing that I am working on for my whip down currently is the Fiery New England, or what I'm calling the Fiery New England. The pattern itself is called Autumn in New England by Susan Strombow. I am so sorry if I am pronouncing your name incorrectly there, Susan. I love your pattern. I have not gotten so far into it, only because I did cast it on last night. I know. My husband was like, "What are you doing casting on another thing? You do not need to." Poor MTI, am I crazy castanitis last night, though. Anyway, I'm using a Red Heart skein of Comfort Sport that I've had for a while. It is a red color. The color number is actually 4313. I'm sure on their website they do have a name for it. I'll have to tell you about it more next week because I'm going to be working on it for a while. The pattern is meant to be could be either a cowl, could be a shawl. I think since I have enough yarn with the Comfort Sport, I'm thinking about trying to make it into a blanket, at least a couch blanket to kind of have around for the cooler weather now that it's coming. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I am absolutely obsessed with blankets. Obviously, you'll notice as we go along here, the KAL, I'm sorry, the projects that are getting worked on the most are all kind of blankets right now. Let's see. Also, just so you know, doing that on a size US 2. Sorry, 2 US size 6 needles. Wow. Yeah, that would be a forever. I'm working on you forever blanket if I was on a size 2 needles. What do you think? For right now, I am using two of the 16-inch circulars that I have until it gets a little bit bigger. And then once it does, I will move up to the 29-inch circs. They recommend 40-inch circs, but I do not have one at a size 6, so I will get on that soon. Do not worry. I have time until it gets that big. So, on to FOs. Yes, like I mentioned before, I have two. One is actually a half object. I finished the first of the Where You Lead socks, the one from the Gilmore Girls KAL. So excited about these. Let me tell you. The pattern itself is the Where You Lead, I Will Follow socks by CC Almond. The yarn that I'm actually using is a Jinx yarn called Chocobo. Yes, it is yellow and awesome, and oh, I absolutely love it so far. I'm actually currently working on the second sock. Only a little bit into the second sock, but it counts. It counts. I'll have to show you pictures of the finished object here. And I just realized I don't think I mentioned that in the listing for my Gilmore Girls KAL. Oh well. Well, just so you know the details on that, like I said, it was I'm using my size US 2 16-inch circulars for that as well. So that made it easy. Now that you have the details for that, we are going to be moving on to the second object that I have. This is actually a new knit since the last time we talked. I called this the Hollow by the Sea. The pattern was By the Sea by Lala. I did use two different colors from No Makers. The first was the colorway Stars Hollow on the Fancy Gnome base, which is a little bit of cashmere in there. I absolutely loved working on it. It's a shawlette. I was pleasantly surprised that I was able to get this blocked out to the exact measurements that Lala mentions in her patterns. So yay me and learning more about how to block. But anyway, the second color that I used was candy corn on the house note base. Both of these colorways play off each other so well. It's very fall-tastic, and I could not wait to get this off my needles. I felt bad that I didn't have much in the way of FOs for this week, but honestly, I was gonna finish it either way last night, so I did. I used a size US 4 Susan Bates metal needle. It's a 29-inch circ. that I used on that one. I will make sure you get a picture of that because it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So for needle adjacent, I actually had a client who requested 2 pairs of purple socks. So as soon as I have a cutout for her foot and approval for yarn choices, I'll get started. And the other things that I am planning on doing with the needle adjacent are different ornaments and things for the business. So definitely keep an eye out for those. I have project pages for both up right now, so you can kind of see the progress I'm making with those. But that's neither here nor there. Sorry, just needed something to drink. um, for the next section, enabling is back, guys. I fell and I fell down so freaking hard this past couple weeks. Yeah, MTI is not very happy with me. But anyway, that's another story altogether. So I have two categories of enabling this week. One is yarn and one is non-yarn, because yeah, I can't help myself. Um, with the yarn, I did get two different shipments. One was the No Makers shipment that I got. It had the Stars Hollow in it, which was I had two skeins, which is on the Fancy Gnome base, and then the Candy Corn that I mentioned before on House Gnome. I also got three other colors. One was Dobie and one was Birdie Bots, both of those on the Fancy Gnome base. And the Witch's Brew colorway, I saw that and I'm like, oh, it has to be mine. It is. It's got blacks and there's blues in there. Oh, not blues. Yeah, there's blacks in there and there's some purples. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna show you pictures, so don't worry, you can see that for yourself. And the second shipment that I got, yarn related, was this from the Simply Socks Yarn Company. I did get four different colors. Two, one is going to be a Barocco sock, which is number 1469. It's called Tate. It is purple. So yay. And then the second one was also for that same client. It's the Simply Socks yarn color. It's just called Simply Purple. So we'll see which one she likes. The Barocco socks does have a little bit of patterning in it, so which was kind of one of her requests. So to kind of mix it up a little bit for her, let her choose. We'll go from there. And then the other two that I bought for Simply Sock were the Trekking XXL colorways that my husband really liked. He wanted something in blue and he wanted something in green with a little bit of flecking. Because I told him, I'm like, you know what? I can't do any more really like gray or really black socks for at least for a while for you. What colors can you live with? And he chose two different colors. One was number 578 and one was number 591. Like I said, they are blue and they are green. He absolutely loves them. And yes, yes, folks, I will get those started relatively soon. I told him I don't think they will be done for the holidays, but I will do my best. So moving on to my non-yarn enabling, I did get four knitting bags, two from Molly Klein Designs, and the other two were from the Slip Stitch Studios. From Molly Klein, there was a coffee themed one I saw. It is brown. It is absolutely amazing, and I couldn't wait to get started with that one. I have a project in there already. The second one I got from her was the Exploding TARDIS pattern. Oh, absolutely love the Exploding TARDIS. It just speaks to my geeky side. So I made sure both of those. I have in the coffee themed one now. I currently have my Where You Lead socks because I figure, we need to mix match everything, right? So yeah, the two from Slip Stitch Studios, I have. Yeah, they are both the two skein ones, which are amazing. They actually fit two sock skeins in there if you need to. I have the Knitting Sheep one. I saw that and it just spoke to me. I needed it. And then there is one that's Zelda. It's Zelda themed. It's got the stained glass in the background. It is absolutely awesome and it does speak to my gaming side as well. This may stay with me, it may not. I haven't quite made that decision yet, and the person that I might give it to does listen to the podcast. Hi, Mercury. You know I would do it if I could. Anywho, I also, in the non-yarn category, got a bunch of stitch markers this week. All of them Gilmore Girls themed, especially for those KAL. I was trying to catch the end of my knitting, but I just couldn't stop working on that shawl. So now I have some awesome stitch markers to go with it. One has um, the Luke's sign on it, and then the others are all coffee and tea themed, so I can always use that for anything else as well. Okay. Yes, and with the Molly Klein, I did also get a little bit of tea in my thing, and I have been drinking that, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Sorry. That's what happens when you don't use your voice for a couple days. You forget you have one. So, what you watching, Silver? Well, quite a bit since the last time we talked. I did watch through all of season 1 of Charmed. I purposefully made myself stop, and then I got obsessed with NCIS again. I pretty much watched through season 7 through 10. I'm about 4 episodes into season 10 now. And there is this episode where where Ducky almost seems like he's going to be leaving the show, and I always say every time, if they make him leave, I will stop watching the show because he is my favorite character. Absolutely favorite. But anyway, I also watched through the end of season 4 of Gilmore Girls. Still going. Don't worry. I anticipate finishing definitely before the start of the new series. Also been catching up with the Knitting Broomstick. I've been catching up with Geeky Girls since I'm still a little bit behind. But anyway, I've also watched a few others. Round the Twist is obviously a favorite of mine, and the Knit Girls and the Knitmore Girls. So don't worry, I'll get there. I have a whole list. If I listed them all off, I know I would miss somebody, and that would not be fair to them because everyone is awesome in their own right. So what you reading, Silver? Well, I've been reading a lot too. I did finish 3 books specifically this week. They were all from the Love It Steak series. That is now officially done for now. They're they're awesome, and I did write reviews on every single one of them. So if you wanted just to follow on my blog, that's up to you as well. I did give a breakdown of little blurbs from the books that won't really give away too much of the storyline. So if you want to read through them, go for it. I recommend them. What I am currently reading on, one is I'm still reading through or listening to Burn for Me by Ilana Andrews, which is a recommendation from Lala. So thank you, Lala. I'm also reading through One for the Money. I anticipate reading through the rest of the number series, but this one is actually by Janet Ivankovich. Just so you know, um, the first 3 books I do have on paperback, so I may be reading them for a while, depending on when my reading time falls in place. Anyway, I will be doing also a review on my personal blog with that as well, so that you have that and you can take a look. Right now, it is just links to the different sections. So whenever I update that, you'll be able to see for yourself and hear my reviews. One for the Money, if you don't remember, actually did become a movie as well. So I might have a little bit of compare and contrast between the book and the movie. Just so you know, and you're forewarned, because I do stuff like that. Yeah, yes, I do. Anyway, on to my favorite things. There are 2 different things this week. I really have enjoyed the Cafe La Orange coffee from San Marcos. It's just so yummy. I have one left, and I am eyeing it right now as my second cup of coffee for the day, because that is another thing that I am decided. is my favorite thing. I have decided I've been drinking too much coffee and I am limiting it to 2 cups a day of coffee and maybe 2 cups of caffeinated soda, and then the rest is all water. It's kind of a personal decision, which is it's good for me, so don't worry about that. The second thing I actually want to talk about is MTI and I recently signed up for Box, which if you don't know, it's actually a service where we can get different like snacky type foods and whatever. The first one is free, so you guys can try that. Just be aware when you sign up, you do have to put your card information in, and then after that, it kind of renews every week or every couple weeks or however you want to set that up. You get to choose what type of things that you want to snack on. This week we did get the Snickerdoodle one, which is awesome. Actually, all 4 of these were pretty much loves for us. We got the Snickerdoodle one. We've got the New York Everything Bagel snack, and then there's the caramel apple wedges. These apple wedges are like kind of chewy, but they actually hold the dipping sauce, which is amazing. And I think they have 1 or 2 left. I'm not going to say who did a lot of damage on that particular one, but anyway. And then the other one is a vitamin C, I think either vitamin C or vitamin E mix. It's got like coconut in there. It also has a little bit of mango and some pineapple in there. Amazing. So amazing. I just wish there was more. I've pretty much been snacking on that constantly. I did not realize I liked coconut as much as I did until I ate some of those slivers. So that's pretty amazing. Definitely check it out for yourself. I'll make sure I will send the link your way. That way you can go ahead and just check it out, see if it's something that you would be interested in. That can be used for personal use or even for like through businesses and things as well. I saw that there was that option as well. Um, the third thing that I kind of like this week, I mean, I'm kind of annoyed with it already because I don't really like cleaning, but anyway, um, I'm still trying to organize my life. In this vein, I have actually started to plan a revamp of my crafting space, trying to make it more organized and keep myself together, and being able to find things is awesome. I've also created a planner that will include my crafting goals as well as the rest of my personal obligations. The crafting goals are anything from I will do X number of rows. I also planned out how many rotations of the basket weave pattern that I'm going to be doing every day, etc., to kind of get me to where I want to be on a weekly basis with my knitting. So but if anyone has any ideas for revamping my craft room that you would like to share, just let me know. I'm going to be sharing a couple pictures. One is going to be a picture of the space by me as I'm recording, and one will be what's upstairs. What you're going to be seeing a lot of the time, I have 3 places to kind of where I do a lot of my crafting. A lot of the time I'm on the couch. And then there's a table behind me. You won't be able to see it in the picture. I'll have to take a separate picture for you where I have all of my these need to get done pile. And then there's the upstairs, which is where I want to have everything organized. I have a space for all of my yarn. I have a space for where the needles and everything go and stuff like that. And I don't go up there very often. We call it our media room because it's technically both my crafting space and MDI's gaming space, which doesn't get used much for much else. It was a second bedroom. So we kind of just throw whatever we don't need up there, whatever we want to hide when people come. And I'm gonna say I am a bad, bad, bad person when it comes to that. Anyway, so if you find any, if you see anything right away that you think I should, invest in, to kind of keep myself organized, I would appreciate advice. Trust me. So if you happen to share your ideas or even pictures of your own crafting space, there may be prizes. And this can be entered either in under the on the Ravelry page or even in the comment section below there are my podcast notes. So good luck, everyone. So I didn't do much in the way of writing this week, just the blog entries and the blog changes. And now that I've actually told you about the number series that I'm going to review, I'm actually going to be, putting up the link and everything like that so that way you can see that for yourself. I usually try to release reviews all at once, or when I've mentioned it. So, yeah. I'm off on that own little tangent about that anyway. It's a long entertain it's a long process for me from the time that I had the idea of, hey, I want to read all the books in a series to, well, while I'm reading them all, I should review them all. And if I'm going to review them all, I'm going to do it on the blog. So how am I going to set up this post? And then from the time that I start it to the time I end it, I sound like I'm bored with it already, but no, I really do. I still love the series, so don't get me wrong. So be forewarned, that's how I get. Anywho, so some final thoughts for this week. I'm actually going to leave you with a quote from one of my favorite episodes of NCIS. This scene is actually between Abby and Tony. And if you can't tell, Abby happens to be my favorite character, followed by Ducky. So here we go. So that Abby says, "What are you gonna do while I test for poison in the house snack?" Tony says, "Oh wait, Abby, there's a futon under the bed." Tony says, "Bless you." Abby says, "What are you, my priest?" I like that one. And then Tony goes, "Curse you?" Yes, I think I will possibly link that scene, but it may cause a little bit of problems. Anyway, I am pretty social. You can actually find me on our Revelry board, which is Silver's Dreamland Podcast. I am Silver Luna 2112 there as well. Wow, I've been on Revelry so long. How could I forget, right? Anyway, you can find all my project pages there on Facebook. It's actually Silver's Dreamland can be found at it's facebook.com/Silver's Dreamland. On Instagram, I am both Silver's Treats and Silver's Dreamland. I answer to both. Yes, I do. On Twitter, I am at Silver's Knitting. And now you can actually find me at my new blog, which is www.silversdreamlandpodcast.com. If you leave comments, like, follow, what have you, right there. I'll be able to see it really quickly. I do tend to read through all of my messages as soon as I possibly can. If I don't hear from you within 24 hours, please feel free to email me directly at silversdreamland@gmail.com. I do have that link to my phone, so I'll see that the quickest. Anyway, hope you all have a great week, all right? Bye. Wow, I sound weird at the end.